I've been a physicist for over half a century, and I've never seen the global scientific community move this fast or this quietly. Before we begin, I need you to do something for me. Comment your city name below and tell me if you've noticed anything unusual in the night sky recently. Strange lights, unexplained hums, satellites that don't move like satellites should. NASA has opened a civilian observation protocol, and they're collecting data from every corner of the globe. Your observation might be the missing piece. Do it now before you forget. What I'm about to share may change the way you see humanity's place in the universe. At exactly 0347 UTC, every deep space monitoring station on Earth detected the same thing, a frequency spike, not from our sun, not from any known pulsar or quasar. It came from the trajectory path of an object we've been tracking since an interstellar visitor cataloged as 3I Atlas. And what happened next has left some of the brightest minds I know unable to sleep. I'm Dr. Michio Kaku, and I'm about to tell you what they're not telling you. Let me start by taking you back to a moment when we thought we understood the rules. We detected Oumuamua, the first confirmed interstellar object to pass through our solar system. It was strange, cigar-shaped, accelerating in ways gravity alone couldn't explain. We tried to listen to it. We heard nothing. It left as mysteriously as it arrived, and the scientific community exhaled. We told ourselves it was a comet, an anomaly, a cosmic fluke. Then we found another one. 3I, Atlas. Discovered by the Atlas survey in Hawaii, this object was different. It had a coma, a tail of gas and dust, something Oumuamua didn't have. We called it a comet. We calculated its trajectory. It came from outside our solar system, somewhere in the direction of the constellation of Ursa Major, traveling at over 100,000 miles per hour. We watched it, we measured it, and then we moved on. But 3I Atlas never left the watch list because there were inconsistencies, small ones, the kind that get buried in footnotes of academic papers. Its rotational period was irregular, its spectral signature didn't match any known cometary composition, and its path had micro-corrections, tiny, almost imperceptible, the kind of corrections you'd expect from something adjusting its course. Still, we said nothing, because saying something without proof is career suicide in physics. You don't announce to the world that an interstellar object might be intelligently controlled unless you want to be laughed out of every conference for the rest of your life. Then came, and everything changed. I was in my office at City College of New York when I got the call. It was from a colleague at the SETI Institute, someone I've known for 30 years. His voice was shaking. He told me to check the data stream from the Very Large Array in New Mexico. I pulled it up on my screen, and I felt my stomach drop. A frequency spike, sharp, deliberate, repeating every 1.618 seconds. Do you know what 1.618 is? It's phi, the golden ratio, the mathematical constant that appears in everything from the spirals of galaxies to the structure of DNA. It's not random, it's not natural, it's a signature, a calling card, and it was broadcasting from the exact position 3I Atlas had occupied 6 hours earlier. Within minutes, every radio telescope on the planet was redirected. Arecibo's successor arrays in China, the Meerkat array in South Africa, the upgraded systems in Australia, they all heard it. A pulsing rhythmic transmission embedded with mathematical sequences, prime numbers, Fibonacci progressions, harmonic ratios. This was not interference. This was not a glitch. This was a message, and it was directed at Earth. I want you to understand the gravity of what I'm saying. In all of human history, we have never, not once, received a confirmed extraterrestrial signal. We've listened for decades. We've sent messages into the void. We've scanned thousands of star systems, and we've heard nothing but cosmic silence. The Fermi paradox haunted us. Where is everybody? Why, in a universe with billions of galaxies, each containing billions of stars, are we so utterly alone? Now, we had our answer. We weren't alone. We were being watched, and something had decided it was time to speak. But here's where it gets strange. Here's where the fear crept in. The signal lasted exactly 37 minutes. Then it stopped. Just stopped. Dead silence. And in that silence, something else happened. Something that's still classified, though I'm telling you now because I believe you have a right to know. Every satellite in geosynchronous orbit experienced a simultaneous telemetry anomaly. GPS systems reported position errors of up to 3 meters. The International Space Station logged a brief unexplained power fluctuation. And across the globe, from Tokyo to Toronto, thousands of people reported the same thing. A low-frequency hum, inaudible to some, unbearable to others, described as a vibration in the chest, a pressure in the skull, a feeling that something vast and incomprehensible was passing through. I felt it. I was in my office and I felt it, like the air itself had become heavy, like reality had briefly shifted. NASA convened an emergency session. The European Space Agency went dark for 12 hours. Russia's Roscosmos issued a statement about solar activity that had nothing to do with the sun. And the Chinese National Space Administration said absolutely nothing at all, which, if you understand how these agencies work, is the loudest response of all. Behind closed doors, the conversations were frantic. What was 3I Atlas, a probe, a ship, a weapon? Why had it transmitted to us? And more importantly, why had it stopped? I sat in on a classified briefing 2 days later. I can't tell you where. I can't tell you who was there. But I can tell you what was discussed, because what I heard in that room has kept me awake every night since. The signal wasn't just mathematical, it was layered. Beneath the surface patterns, embedded in the frequency modulation, there was something else. A secondary transmission. It took our best cryptographers and AI-assisted decoding systems 72 hours to extract it. And when they did, they found something that defied every assumption we'd ever made about extraterrestrial communication. It was a map, a three-dimensional star map, showing not where 3I Atlas came from, but where it was going. And overlaid on that map were markers, hundreds of them, scattered across the galaxy, each one representing a civilization, some active, some extinct. And Earth, our little blue dot, was marked in red. Red, not blue like the active ones, not gray like the extinct. Red, a color we hadn't seen anywhere else on the map. One of the astrophysicists in the room asked the question we were all thinking. What does red mean? The response came from an AI linguistic model that had been cross-referencing the signal structure with every known symbolic system, human and otherwise. It gave us one word: quarantine. The room went silent. You could hear people breathing. Someone dropped a pen. I remember that sound, the small metallic clatter echoing in the stillness, because in that moment, we understood. We weren't being contacted. We weren't being welcomed into some galactic community. We were being warned away, or worse, we were being contained. Humanity, in the eyes of whatever intelligence sent that signal, was dangerous. We were a red zone, a contaminated species. And 3I Atlas wasn't a greeting. It was a boundary marker. I want to pause here and talk about what this means, because this isn't just about aliens. This is about us, about what we are, about what we've become. For all of human history, we've imagined first contact as a moment of enlightenment. We've pictured benevolent beings descending from the stars to share their wisdom, to guide us toward a better future. We've dreamed of joining a cosmic federation, of learning the secrets of faster-than-light travel, of transcending our primitive origins. But what if the universe doesn't see us that way? What if, to the civilizations out there, we're not a young species full of potential? We're a virus, a self-replicating, resource-consuming, war-waging infection that hasn't yet learned to control itself? Look at our history. We've existed as a technological species for less than 2 centuries. In that time, we've split the atom and immediately weaponized it. We've developed artificial intelligence and used it for surveillance and control. We've created global communication networks and filled them with misinformation and hate. We've discovered the fossil fuels that power our civilization and burned them so recklessly that we've destabilized the climate of our own planet. From the outside, what do we look like? Do we look like a species ready to join the galactic community, or do we look like a threat? The more I thought about it, the more the signal made sense. Not as a message of welcome, but as a warning. Stay back, don't spread, evolve first or die out. And here's the terrifying part. The signal suggested that we're not the first. Those gray markers on the map, the extinct civilizations, they were like us once. They reached a certain level of technological development. They faced the same challenges, the same existential risks, and they failed. They destroyed themselves, or they were destroyed. We're at that threshold now, the great filter, as we call it in astrophysics. The point in a civilization's development where it either matures into something sustainable and wise, or it collapses into chaos and extinction. And the universe is watching to see which way we go. But here's what kept me awake. Here's what haunts me. The signal didn't just show us the map, it showed us a timeline. Embedded in the frequency modulation was a countdown, a date, encoded in astronomical units and orbital mechanics. I won't tell you the exact date. I can't. But I can tell you this. It's soon. Very soon. And when that date arrives, something is going to happen. Something that will either confirm our place in the quarantine or end it. What happens on that date? I don't know. None of us do. But there are theories. Some believe 3I Atlas was the first of many. That more objects are coming. That the frequency spike was a signal to others, a confirmation that Earth is still in its primitive state. Others believe the spike was a test, that whatever intelligence is out there is measuring our response, watching to see if we panic, if we unify, if we evolve. And some believe it was a weapon, that the frequency spike wasn't a message at all. It was an activation sequence, that somewhere buried in our technology, in our satellites, in our AI systems, there's a trigger. And when the countdown ends, it will be pulled. I don't know which theory is right, but I know this. We're not ready. We're not ready for any of it. We're still a species divided by borders and ideologies. We're still killing each other over resources and beliefs. We're still building weapons instead of worlds, and now the universe has noticed. In the weeks since the signal, there have been other events, other anomalies. On November 19th, the Hubble Space Telescope detected a sudden dimming of a star 47 light-years away, a dimming pattern consistent with a megastructure passing in front of it. On November 23rd, amateur radio operators in Finland picked up a repeating signal in the UHF band that matched the harmonic structure of the 3I Atlas transmission. On December 1st, seismographs around the world recorded simultaneous low-frequency vibrations with no identifiable source. And the hum, that low-frequency hum, people are still reporting it from every continent, every time zone. Some describe it as a tone, others as a pressure. A few say it feels like a voice whispering in a language they don't understand but somehow recognize. I've listened to the recordings, I've analyzed the waveforms, and I can tell you this, it's not random, it's structured, it has syntax, it has rhythm, it's a language, and it's coming from everywhere and nowhere at once. What does it say? We don't know yet, but we're working on it. Teams of linguists, mathematicians, physicists, and AI researchers are collaborating in ways we've never seen before. National boundaries have blurred. Classified programs are sharing data because whatever is happening, it's bigger than any one country. It's bigger than humanity itself. And that's what scares me most. Not the signal, not the map, not even the countdown. What scares me is what it reveals about us, about our fragility, our immaturity, our cosmic insignificance. We thought we were the pinnacle of evolution, the crown jewel of the universe. We built cities and rockets and particle accelerators, and we convinced ourselves that we were special, that we mattered. But we don't, not yet. We're children playing with matches in a gunpowder factory, and the adults have just walked in. So what do? How do we respond to a universe that sees us as a threat? How do we prove that we're worth saving? Or at least worth ignoring? I don't have all the answers, but I know where we start. We start by growing up. We start by putting aside our differences. We start by recognizing that the divisions we've created, the borders, the ideologies, the hierarchies, They're illusions, constructs of our primitive minds. In the eyes of the cosmos, there are no nations, there are no races, there is only one species, one planet, one chance. We need to evolve, not just technologically, but morally, ethically, spiritually. We need to become the kind of species that deserves to be part of the galactic community, the kind that doesn't destroy itself before it reaches the stars. And we need to do it fast, because the countdown is ticking, and whatever happens when it reaches zero, we need to be ready. I've spent my entire life studying the universe. I've peered into the hearts of black holes. I've unraveled the equations that govern the fabric of space-time. I've stood in front of audiences and explained with confidence how the cosmos works. But now, for the first time in my career, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what happens next. I'm not sure if we'll survive. I'm not sure if we even deserve to, but I do know this: we're being watched and we're being tested, and the universe is waiting to see what we do. So I'm asking you, what will you do? Will you keep scrolling? Will you go back to your routine, to your distractions, to your comfortable illusions? Or will you wake up? Will you pay attention? Will you become part of the solution? Because this isn't just about physics anymore. This isn't just about space or signals or cosmic mysteries. This is about us, about whether we rise to meet this moment or whether we become another gray marker on the map, another failed experiment in the vast laboratory of the universe. The signal from 3i Atlas was a mirror, and what it showed us was terrifying. But mirrors don't lie. They show us what we are. And now we have to decide what we want to become. I'll be here, following every development, every new piece of data, every anomaly, and I hope you'll follow along with me. Stay with this channel as we continue decoding the universe's final warnings. Subscribe if you want to be part of this journey, because what comes next, and we'll face it together. But before I go, I need to ask you one more question, one that's been haunting me since that briefing, since I saw that map, since I felt that hum in my chest. If the universe has marked us as dangerous, as unworthy, as something to be contained, are they wrong? Think about that. And then comment below. Tell me your city. Tell me what you've seen. Tell me what you think, because your voice matters. Every observation matters. Every perspective matters. We're all part of this now, whether we're ready or not.